Okay. All right. Players had the day off yesterday, and really wanted to, recognize the players do a great job with community outreach. They have the last 2 years we've here. I just wanted to thank them for that, taking time out of their day off to be able to do that and really impact the community in a lot of ways and a lot of the youth in our community as well. So that was always recognize those guys at our team meeting on Wednesday, and they've been continuing to do a great job with that. Back to work today. Got to update. Injuries with the quarterback position. Fields will be back at practice today. Our plan is to start him on Sunday. He continues to progress this week. He's a big part of returning to practice today. He's going to be a big part of the evaluation. But again, he's progressing well, and our plan is to start him this week. So that's what it is. Nate Davis is back out there today. We'll get him back in the mix. He'll be starting at right guard for us. We moved Jenkins to left, and that's going to be the move that we make there. That we feel that's our best five out there as we get healthy with our football team. So that's excited about that. Terrell Smith is also returning to practice, from illness, and again he'll be rotating in there with our DBs, our different packages that we have. So really excited to get him back there. He feels good. And it looks good too. Kari Blasingame has been cleared from concussion protocol. He'll be back out there as well. Good to get him back. Get our two back sets in there. So we're excited about that going forward. And then afterward, we'll have our full injury report after today's practice. And a couple other guys, Khalil Herbert's still in his 21-day window. We'll see where that goes. Again, we'll have to make roster moves to make that move, but we'll see where he is this week and see how he looks and see where he goes from there. With that, open questions.
Is there any concern with Foreman? I know that on Monday he wasn't up.
Yeah, he's progressing well. We'll see where it goes when he starts moving around today, but we like where he is for sure.
Matt, what do you see when you look at the offensive line? Why Nate Davis at right guard and moving Tevin back? What's
just the natural positions? That's what Nate has played. And it gives us the flexibility because Tev has played both sides, and Tev's looked good on both sides, and that's just the best operation that we feel. For each position experience.
Will the plan be for Lucas to be at center or Cody going back to center?
Yeah, Lucas will be at center. Yes.
And I don't know if you mentioned Edmonds. So he seems like he's the missing piece in getting everybody back there.
Right.
Herbert's on track. How close is he?
Yeah, he's optimistic. He's did walk through today. So we'll see where he is. He won't practice today. But we'll see where he is. He ran with the trainers this morning, and we'll see where it goes. But he felt good about it.
Cody Whitehair, who's been here forever, it seems, and has moved around. How hard are those conversations with him if he ends up being the odd man out there?
Yeah, those are always hard. You get back to full strength, and Cody has been a true pro. Obviously a captain here for many years and had a great long career, and he's still going to continue to help us as we go. We're always. That's our starting lineup for this week, and things can happen like that. And he's back into the mix at center, guard, wherever it might be. And we're fortunate we have the flexibility to do that, to move Tevin to both sides, to move Cody, have Cody play guard or center. So we're fortunate that way, and he brings that flexibility to our team.
What was the last hurdle for Justin? I assume he's now medically cleared if he's coming back to practice today. What was the last hurdle that the staff needed to see to get him back?
Just continuing to watch and observe, and look and see where he is, and he looks good. And so we're excited where he goes. And again, this will be a big evaluation today. Like I said, I think it was Monday about, going full speed, doing full speed reps and all that. So yeah, it'll be a big evaluation today.
How have you seen him stay engaged in what the offense has been doing over the last 4 games?
It's been great. It's been great. In terms of him being a professional, him helping out, Tyson, obviously starting his first starts. And I think that was very beneficial for Tyson, to have that support. Because you can feel it, right? You can feel support. You can feel, him being genuine about that support and really helpful in that way. And he was great that way. And he's always been a great teammate, always been one of the hardest workers. He was engaged in all those game plans to be helpful, and to be supportive. And he was that.
Where did you see Tyson from his first start to last week? Where did you see him make the biggest stride?
Yeah, so go back and look at it. I really thought that he made a huge jump in the New Orleans game. With the drive coming out there, taking him down the field in that environment. Really the first time in that environment, being that loud, I know he did the no huddle operation, in the silent count at the Chargers, but the stress wasn't there in terms of the noise. And then just him functioning in that really through 3 quarters. That was the biggest jump for me. And then going into the last game about how he protected the football. And that's the number one job of a quarterback is to protect the football. I got rid of the ball, didn't take any sacks, and so I think that's a big growth there.
Obviously, rosters change year to year, but having gone through over the course of the season, is it a box you can check that knowing that you have a viable option as a backup? Like, is that something that the staff going through 2023 feels good about that they can come away with Tyson?
Yeah, I would say what your last statement was. Feels good about. And again, we never put ceilings on players, but we certainly like where his floor is. Because he can. Sky's the limit for everybody. You never want to do that, and guys can grow into certain spaces that they didn't even think they could. And so you have to give them that opportunity. But we certainly like where he is right now.
Matt, the coaches, like yourself, lean on next man up throughout the year, and you've had success with that. But when you're 3-7, how important is it? How much are you counting on being whole? I mean, you could be as healthy as close to your original starting lineup, both sides of the ball, as you've been. And how important is that to you, especially in this situation? Don't you really need to be, with all due respect to the next man up, to be whole and have your starters and have a whole team?
Yeah, just to answer your first part of the question there, I really like the way our coaches developed our young players and developed those guys in those roles, and they've certainly helped us along the way. And you could point to a bunch of different guys, Tyson Bagent being one of them, and the backup guys that have come in and played. But it's good. It's good to be healthy, and it's good to have our guys back at full strength, and we're excited about that. Now it's just bringing them together for this particular game plan, because we're playing some good teams here in the next 3 or 4 weeks, and we're going to need that. It's all hands on deck.
And to that point, your defense played well, and then you faced Herbert, and it didn't go as well. What's the challenge now? You're facing Goff and a really well-oiled machine on offense. Isn't this really a litmus test for this defense to see if they're as good as they think they are?
Yeah, anytime you play a top 10 offense, that's the test, right? And certainly this offense is a good offense, and it's got a lot of skill, and they distribute the ball around to different players, and make you defend it horizontally and vertically. And whenever you have that challenge, it's going to be a big challenge for us.
And I know this is the first time you've faced the Lions this season, but from your vantage point, what have you come to admire or recognize of the Lions, and kind of what they've been able to do to turn around that team?
Yeah, I mean, you go back to the game that we had here at home, right? So at that point, that was the turnaround, and we certainly made some big plays in that game. The Sanborn interception was a big play, so we recognize that, and what we do, what I see on tape is good execution, and I see good energy and passion. And those two things are winning formulas. The quarterback has done a really good job of protecting the ball, so that's another winning formula that you have. And so that's what I see. I see good energy, good passion, good execution.
To go along with that, how do you see Dan Campbell's fingerprints on what they do, both schematically and then obviously in the energy and passion department?
Yeah, in what way?
Just like how do you see his identity fused through their team when you see them play?
I could just what I just said. I think he's a high energy guy. He's got a lot of passion, and you can see that. His fingerprint on that football team, and you can see the way they fight all the way through 60 minutes, and they battle all the way.
I know it's a division rivalry. Can you draw hope from the fact that they have had this success and they have had this kind of turnaround after sometimes?
Yeah, there's been teams that you can pull from, right, that have had that big turnaround. When I was at the Colts, we were that 1-5 or 1-6 or whatever it was, and turned around and made the playoffs. And you can point to your own experiences or other experiences that you see during the history of the league. Everybody's had to fight through that, and we're hopeful that we can do that. I know we had a lot of adversity this year, and we've had some injuries at key spots, but being back to full strength, and I'm really proud of the way our guys really fought through the adversity. How they hung together the entire way, and they've always been the same every single week in terms of their work ethic, in terms of their determination and their positivity, and I commend those guys for that.
Kevin has said that moving from left to right for him has been easier than going from right to left. As he goes back to left guard, what are the things he needs to work on to make sure that he's up to speed with hand placement, switching everything to the other
Yeah, I would just say look out of this side of the eye. Make sure you do a good job with that. I know it changes. It really does. But I really commend him for that, to have that flexibility, because he's a heck of an athlete, and a really good talent, and he's really growing in front of our eyes. You see the him being a pro, consistent day in and day out during practices, showing up every day, putting the work in, and it's starting to pay off for him. And, he's had some good battles. He had a good battle last week. He's playing a really good player last week, and he gleaned a lot of information from that performance. And I expect him to get better because of that.
And your last stop, Matt, when you guys traded for Buckner,
Mhm.
what sort of impact did he have? And is that a template? I know it's a different position, but is that a template for Tez coming in?
Yeah, very similar. Very similar. That's a premier player, all-pro player, and the guy who can affect the quarterback. And you can really see the effect, the Tez factor that I called the other day, or the Tez effect, that really you can see the rushers, starting to really work, at the quarterback. And we had a lot of good pressures last week, a lot of good hits on the quarterback, a few sacks, and that's got to continue. And it really helped our coverage. You could see that, some of the incomplete passes were definitely created by that pressure. And we got to continue that.
Assuming that you and Ryan haven't completed your evaluations of Justin Fields in terms of his long-term future with the Bears, is 7 weeks enough time for him to show and prove that I am the quarterback to lead this team to Super Bowl going forward?
I think 7 weeks is enough time for the show consistency, and being the high performer, that we expect him to be, and I know he's had some good performances, along this year. Certainly the last few have been solid, and we expect consistency, out of all our positions.
Man, how much of a difference will it make for Sweat that he has a whole week? The first game, the first time was 4 days, that was 3. Now he's had a whole, more than a week. How much difference can that or will that make, you think, for not just him, but your defensive line?
Yeah, I think
Against a really good offense.
Yeah, obviously a really good offensive line, one of the best in the league. So, it's our challenges is there for certainly our front. And just having the time on task, Mark, that's really it. So the mini buy helped. We had some extra time to work with him, and talk to him about the scheme and, and get our particular scheme we're running this week, in front of them earlier. So I think it's always good.
Matt, with Justin expected to start on Sunday, what does his skill set do for you offensively? How does it expand what you guys have?
Yeah, I think we talked about that the other day, and I think that you have some different options. You have some different options there, different movement passes that you might run and that you wouldn't run with a different quarterback in there. So certainly opens up your package a little bit.
Is Nate going to be able to play? Do you anticipate him playing the whole load, or would there be a platoon with him and Whitehair maybe going over there?
We'll see when we look at this week. We feel that his conditioning level is really good. That's what our performance staff is telling us, and that's what he's saying. But again, we got to see it on the practice field, and we anticipate him playing the whole way. But if we have to make modifications based on what we see this week, we'll do that.
Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Matt.
All right, so that is Matt Eberflus at the podium breaking it down. I don't know let's see. Is it gonna let me take down the overlay? Might be a little stuck here. Let J Mac in here. What's good, y'all? It's your boy Pat the Designer back at it again. I guess we just got Flus joining us for the show. For some reason, it won't the overlay's stuck up here right now, but we're gonna make it work. We're gonna make it move past. We're gonna evolve. We're gonna change the game. We're gonna look out of the other side of the eye. J Mac, what'd you hear there that you like? Justin Fields on his way back, and Nate Davis set to return. He will play right guard, it seems. So the offensive line going back to normal, some normalcy. What'd you hear there that you thought was good stuff from Flus?
Like you said, just the overall health of the team is getting better. Especially at a time in which further evaluations for not just Justin, but for a lot of these guys on this roster have to be made. With the season that you've had, you've got to anticipate that changes will be taking place at the end of the season. I don't know if that, means a new coaching staff, but it's definitely going to be some changes when you have a team that's not performing up to expectations. So the main things for these players is throughout these evaluations is to make sure that they're putting their best foot forward so that way they can remain on this team or remain on an NFL roster in the future. So it's good to see, Kyrie Blasingame games coming back. That's going to help the run game, especially, a team that, Coach Getsy likes to use multiple personnel groupings. So now you can get, 21 personnel, true two backs, one running back, one fullback, one tight end. You can get that personnel grouping back, on track to help you with this running game. Something that you've had success with the past few weeks. Nate Davis is back. We'll talk about the O-line shuffle again. On the defensive side of the ball, it's good to hear Terrell Smith is back, a guy who was performing well before he got sick. Looking at the fact that Tyreek Stevenson has been banged up, they put Jalen Jones on that other side, opposite of Jalen Johnson. So you got a defense in which you may see like you have a complete defense, guys being healthy. And we saw that last week with the first time we've seen, Kyler Gordon, Eddie Jackson, and Jaquan Brisker all on the field at the same time. You saw what that defense was able to do with the addition of Montez Sweat, elevating the play of that defensive line. So I'm excited. You're going to need a healthy team, especially going against a really good Detroit Lions team. And we're starting to get back into, conference play. It's going to be, good getting guys back at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, listen, this is the time for most teams, right? It feels like for the Bears, we almost feel a little bit different, but this is the time for most teams where you would get excited that all your starting players are coming back because, right, we're going to get to see our real starting quarterback versus a Lions defense that just gave up 38 points or 41 points, I should say. Can Justin go out there and make that happen? But of course, as Bears fans, right, we got all the quarterback questions in the world. We're a little nervous on what this is going to end up being. Is he going to go out there and show out? Is there going to be some rust? What's the game plan going to be around him? What do you want to see from Justin Fields in this game? First game back, of course, we know the rust is going to be there, but when you see him step out back onto the field, what do you want to see that maybe you've seen in the Tyson Bagent era or just seeing from other teams around the league?
Yeah, I'm going to echo what Coach Flus said. It's, especially not just this game, but throughout the remainder of the season, is consistency in, him being able to go out there and take command of this offense. Him being able to go out there and lead this offense. Him going out there and be able to put together, drives together, which leads to touchdowns. And, him being able to get guys involved. Obviously you want to continue to get DJ Moore involved, but I want to see guys, Mooney. Obviously, we've seen Cole Kmet. He's had a good run with Tyson Bagent being under center, but I want to see Justin Fields go out there and lead and command an offense just like a franchise quarterback would do. Yeah. And that's what we got to see, not just this game, but throughout the remainder of the season. And, if there's truly an evaluation of Justin for the remainder of the season of whether or not he's going to be your quarterback, or, is it a case to where, regardless of what he does, they're going to move on from him because they have enough of an evaluation that they feel that they're going to move on from. So I don't know what it is, but for Justin, this is the biggest stretch of his career. And because whether or not he's in a Bears uniform, he has to make sure that he goes out there and performs well. So that way, he has an opportunity, if he's not with the Bears, to be able to be a starter elsewhere.
Yeah, 100%. I'm Pat, the designer. That's Jason McKie. We do want to let you guys know this episode is brought to you by the Hard Rock Casino in Northern Indiana. You can see Blue October on November 30th at Hard Rock Live. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster.com. Now, one thing that has been very, very big around the Chicago Bears conversation with Justin Fields has been the offensive line. To me, personally, you just saw your best offensive line combination that you've had all season with with Tevin Jenkins and Darnell Wright on the right side. I literally fear for defenders' lives watching Tevin Jenkins be like, you about to get pancake blocked. And it's over. Like, just accept your fate. Like, those two guys on the same side, especially running the football, has been monstrous. But, of course, Nate Davis, you paid him $30 million to come here. He's gonna play. So now him getting ready to return, they said it's just a conditioning thing. They'll see where he's at kind of today. But him returning to the right side, do you like the fact that, in my opinion, you have something great on your right side right now with Darnell Wright and Tevin Jenkins? You have something good with Nate Davis and Darnell Wright on that side, and then moving Tevin Jenkins back to the other side. Would you rather have the great on the one side or good across your line as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, even last week, right, when Tevin Jenkins talked about, the chemistry that him and Darnell Wright built up on that right side, he said it was an honor to play with him. Yeah. And, I think, going back, watching tape of those two guys, they've done a great job. You can see that the chemistry's been building every single game. And now you flip Tevin to left guard. I mean, yeah, he has the versatility to do it, but at the same time, like you said, you really fortified that right side of your offensive line with those two guys, two young guys at that. So I think it's a matter of Nate Davis not being it. Like, if you bring Nate Davis back, right, he gets healthy. Nate Davis, I don't think can play left guard. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he
can. Yeah, he's only played it a couple of times in his career.
Yeah, correct. He doesn't have that versatility. So it's like, you want to get all your best guys out there. And Nate Davis, when healthy, he has performed well. So getting your best combination out there, I think the only way to do it is putting Tevin at left guard, who has that versatility,
Yeah.
who can make that adjustment. But at the same time, it was great seeing Darnell and Tevin on that right side. And now we have an opportunity to see what type of chemistry that Tevin and Braxton Jones has now on the left side of that offensive line.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, like any side, it's so funny, like where we started with Tevin Jenkins in the year. Like, I think his game has grown so exponentially from this year to from last year to this year, because we started this year again, right, on the injury train. And I think every Bears fan in the world was like, listen, this guy's too injured for us to be talking about paying him by the end of the season. Now you see the versatility he has, the play that he puts out on the field, how he's laying defenders out left and right, how he's actually doing as a guard on both sides, how he's blocked, all of those things. And now we're all of a sudden having a conversation of, my God, what if he leaves at the end of the season? What are we going to do? Like, I think that he's done such a good job of flipping the narrative around his career. Now, listen, it helps if you stay healthy. I hope that Tevin stays healthy through these next 7 games. Maybe the Bears are able to run something off. But just seeing the difference that it made from the beginning of the season to now, I think that narratives can be changed just as much around this team as a whole with 7 weeks left. And we saw that against the team we're about to play in Detroit, who they were getting ready to fire everybody in the building. And then they run off and they go, 7-1 to finish out their season, 7-2 to finish out. Yeah, I mean, like, there's a lot that can change here for this Bears team in the next 7 weeks. What do you want to see the most change? What do you want to see that is the one thing that you can leave this season and go, I know we have that solved?
Yeah, I mean, I think the one thing that we've seen the past few weeks in terms of consistency is that defense. I mean, that defense. I mean, look at the defense against the run, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know where we rank against the run. I had it written down. What are we? We are.
I think we're
fifth.
Fifth, I believe fifth. Yeah,
Yeah, we're fifth against the run, right? So when I look at that, right, you have something to build upon, right? You got Sweat in there. Obviously, he's elevated the rush of everybody around him. He'll make those guys better. You still have a evaluation on Yannick, whether or not you're going to bring him back. But you have a cornerstone on that defensive line with Sweat and Billings, right? And then you look at your linebackers. You got your 2 linebackers. I mean, TJ Edwards is having a hell of a year. He's in on every single tackle. Every time I'm at a game, he's either getting up off the pile or he's around the pile. That's why he's, the franchise leader in terms of tackles throughout the first, few weeks of the season. And I mean, look at Tremaine Edmonds' versatility. Jack Sanborn's a great piece. You got, I mean, I don't know, Jalen Johnson, the jury's still out on that, but you got some young corners in which you can develop in Terrell Smith and Tyreek Stevenson. Jaquan Brisker's here. You got to make a decision on Andy Jackson. So I look at the defense and say, okay, you know what? We got some really nice pieces at every level as defense. You know what I mean? Things to build upon. Do we want to always add pieces? Yes, but you have things to build on. You have a cornerstone on each level of this defense. So I want to see the defense continue to improve. This week more than ever, that pass rush is going to have to get there. So we saw what Montez Sweat did against Carolina, one of the bottom of the barrel teams in this league. Let's see what he can do against one of the top offenses in this league. And let's see, how this defense responds to a Detroit team that has a ton of weapons, man. And they got a ton of freaking weapons. You got a quarterback in Jared Goff that's playing some really good football.
Yeah. No, listen, he's I know it sounds weird to say, but I think you have to throw his name into the MVP conversations as well, with how he's been leading this Detroit Lions team. Just an update, though. The Chicago Bears right now rank 2nd in rush yards allowed by an opponent. 66.3 is the Philadelphia Eagles. They are number 1, 76 yards per game for the Chicago Bears. That is number 2 in the entire NFL, which is very important for this upcoming week because Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery, and Amon-Ra St. Brown out of the backfield, which they've kind of used him as that third end-around rusher, and he's been able to make some huge plays. I mean, you have a really, really good run game coming at you. Monty's going to want to prove something. There's always that aspect of like, I got to prove to the team that let me go, even though we tried to sign you, that I was worth being there, even though you didn't want to be here. Like, so Monty's going to try and come out and kill us for sure. I'm going to be real with you, though. The one thing that I would love to see continue for the Chicago Bears, if anything, and it's consistency in the scheme. Me and you have both watched the All 22 every single week, and it feels like every other week we're seeing something that is, I don't know if it's something Getsy's trying to add in. I don't know if it's something that he's trying to change, or if he's trying to get back to this is what I want my scheme to look like. But every now and then, right, in the games that are good, the scheme looks very consistent. It looks like, okay, we're going to run things that fit our quarterback, and we're going to do that the whole game. The games that we usually lose, we're like, hey, what the heck's going on here? Why are we doing this when we know that this don't work? It didn't work the first 3 games.
This is what I'm doing right now if I'm Justin Fields, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to go up to Getsy's office. I'm going to knock on the door.
Oh, yes.
Say,
What's going on,
Justin? This is what I like right here. You see this right here? This is what I like.
Yeah.
All this right here is what I like.
Yeah.
This right here is what I like, what makes me feel comfortable. I feel like I have a good grasp of this. I feel like I can be successful with this type of game plan. Now, this is what I don't like. I don't like this.
Oh, but Justin, I like those things.
Huh?
I like that play call though, Justin. I think that works for us.
Listen, coach, I don't like this. It keeps me in the pocket too long. I don't like the route concept with this. You know what I mean? I feel like the routes are going to take too much time to develop. But I don't like this. I like this, right? What's this? Movements, boots, screens, getting the ball out quick, getting me on the move, sprint outs. I like all this.
Yeah.
Play action off of our great run game. Now, we're 5th in rushing offense. I want everything to be set up off of our run, right? I want to be able to throw the ball out of formations in which we've had success running, right? Trying to establish, right, the illusion of complexity, right? So when they see a run formation that we've had success out of, yeah, we're going to run out of it, but I also want to set up the pass out of that.
Yeah.
That's where all your explosive plays come from, right? The big plays, the chunk yardage comes off the running game. So this is what I like, coach. This right here. This is what I like.
I hear you, Justin, but hear me out on this. What if we run the same screen pass 3 times in a row?
Yeah, I'm gonna say, well, you know what, coach? We're gonna have the same result, and I'm gonna let you sit at the podium and take all the heat.
You know what? Here's the part that's tough, right? Like I don't know if it's tough, but that's funny to me is, and the one thing I do want to see Justin do is take command of your team. We saw Tyson Bagent do this, and I've talked about this a couple of times already, right? Where, and it's not to say like Bagent killed it, but one thing that he said the first play of the game, DJ Moore said he was surprised the football came to him because he wasn't the one that was supposed to get the ball on the first play of the game. And he was like, I guess we're starting the party early. When they asked Tyson Bagent about it, he said, he's the best player on the field. Why wouldn't we get him the ball?
Yeah.
The first play of the game. Like, why wouldn't I throw him the football? That's where I want to see Justin get to, where, remember, earlier in the season, right, when everybody said he's calling out his coaches and different things like that, he said he's playing too robotic. Don't be a robot. Understand who your playmakers are on the field. Understand what the play needs to have work to function. But also, in the back of your mind, it should always be, but where's DJ? You want to know why? Because those guys who have number 1 wide receivers, the Kirk Cousins, now Josh Dobbs, whenever Justin Jefferson comes back, right? The Joe Burrows, the Justin Herberts, in their mind, they're always going, where's Keenan Allen?
Yeah.
Where's Justin Jefferson? Where's Jamar Chase? Literally, Joe Burrow has said it to us.
Yeah.
What was the play call on that? Jamar down there somewhere.
This is my thing right here. My problem with what you said or what DJ said, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know I was getting the ball. The play's not designed for me to get the ball on that play. Well, guess what? Right? If I'm the coach, I'm the receivers coach. Mm-hmm. Everybody should be running a route like they're getting the ball. I don't care if you're the number 1 read, the number 2 read, the number 3 read. Everybody is supposed to be running their route like they're the number 1 receiver. Getting the ball. You know what I mean? Then there's no issues, right? Because if that play does break down and that quarterback has to go through his progressions, bam, he's coming to you, your 3rd read. Guess what? Now I'm ready to get the ball. That's football, right? That's playing football at a high level. That's executing at a high level, right? The teams that do those things, the little things well, are the teams that have success in this league. But when you're running a route half-assed because I'm not sure I'm getting the ball, you're not going to execute at a high level. You know what I mean? And DJ is a guy, and I'm not saying he doesn't because he does. DJ,
he caught it and turned it into a 16-yard reception.
That's what I'm saying. But in terms of just overall schematics and details of an offense, and when you want to have a successful offense, everybody has to be receiver wise. Everybody has to be running a route like they're the number one read.
It's so weird because right, like I almost feel like that's something that's very simple and you think about and all of that, but like it almost seems like there's been too many times this season where that hasn't happened, right? I swear, when Tyson Bajer threw that deep route to Valus, I swear Valus didn't know it was coming to him. Like he looked back like, oh snap, the ball is here. Now I need to adjust. And it was underthrown. And now I gotta, I just fell. It still hit me in the chest. I still dropped it. I don't blame him that much it hit him in the chest on the ground and he dropped it. But like it feels like too often we've seen that this season where receivers are literally like, yes, I'm running my route. I'm just going through the motions of what this play is because I know the ball ain't coming to me. And that is something that I would like to see changed about this, but the scheme to me is let's get some consistency in there. Let's, like you said, run what Justin feels comfortable with. Because you ran it with Tyson. You ran these plays with Tyson. You ran these plays. Like let's just keep it consistent because that we know that's where he feels comfortable at. Looking at the defensive side of the ball, by the way, hit that like button, subscribe to the page. Appreciate you guys for showing love. We talked about the defensive side of the ball a little bit. Good to see them getting healthy as well. Tremaine Edmonds is going through walkthrough, but won't be at practice today. An update on Tremaine a little bit there. Defensively, when you see Tremaine now, what do you need to see from him the rest of this season? He's been kind of someone who's been a little bit quiet, right? He's got a couple of takeaways. He's done some really good things, but it hasn't felt like, okay, this is enough. Do you look at Tremaine Edmonds and say, well, of course, there's no technique. I knew you would be fighting for your life. You're giving us what you can. Or do you feel like there's still more in the tank you need to see from him?
I mean, Tremaine's a proven vet. Like his productivity speaks for itself. That's why he got paid a good amount to come here. Obviously, has he had the season that we expected? No. Injuries has played a part.
Yeah.
But I do when I see him come back. I want to see him, take command of this defense and be the leader that we brought you here to be. And yes, TJ Edwards has exceeded a lot of expectations. We know he's a good linebacker, but damn, like what he's done the first few weeks of the season is amazing. But we need to see, Tremaine Edmonds take leadership, take ownership, of this defense and, really be that quarterback, get guys lined up while you're out there making plays. Just take command of the overall defense. And, I'm hoping he has an opportunity to get back sooner than later. I would hope it would be this game. I don't know. We'll see how that pans out. But
said he went through walkthrough, but he's not going to practice. So basically, you're a part of the scheme, but like, don't hurt yourself more.
Yeah, and man, hopefully he's out there. Because when he's out there, his athleticism is without question, right? Because he has everything that the Bears want in his defense. He has the length, he has the size, he has ability to play, in coverage because of his length and his speed. And his mental makeup of understanding route concepts and understanding where he's supposed to be within his defense. So when you have a guy that can affect, not only the passing game because of his physical traits, but he's a willing tackler, you know what I'm saying? He can be an enforcer in the run game. He's definitely one of the key cards of this defense. So we definitely need him back. With all the other pieces around us getting healthy, he's one of the main guys you need back healthy and taking command of this defense.
I got it. And I feel like it's been an under talked about, and he's been underpraised because he's just a workhorse. He's a workman. He's going to go out there. He's going to do whatever he can to get the job done. You got to give credit to Jack Sanborn for standing in. I mean, he has been an excellent, and Brian Urlacher said something on, I want to say it was on CHGO when he was recently on with them. He said, everybody always wants to go get these athletes. You want the guy that can run the 4.4. He's like, no, I want the guy that can play at 4.4. He's like, when you can run a 4.4, but you got to play at 4.6 because you have to think about what's happening in the game before you get there, and then you try to make a play. Now you're not as effective. But if you run a 4.6, but you can play at 4.4 because I know exactly where they're going to be. I know how I'm going to get this guy. I know how I'm going to make this tackle. Boom, he's down. We're out. Let's get to the next play. That's what Jack Sanborn is to me. He's never lost on the football field, and I have to give him so much credit for what we saw out of him in those what has it been, 3 games since Tremaine has gone out?
Yeah, and the thing about it is, right, Jack Sanborn and TJ Edwards, right, they've had to go out there and get it from the bottom, You know, 2 guys undrafted had to prove themselves every step of the way, and they've done that. Jack Sanborn, every opportunity he's had, he's made plays. He's made an impact. You know, he's made his presence felt. He's shown he's belonged. And, you know, when he tackles guys, like, I mean, he's thumping guys. And the good thing about Sanborn is, like, his recognition of plays, him being able to diagnose plays, but not just have any wasted movements, but being able to diagnose those plays, but then be able to shoot through a gap and make a sure tackle. Like, that's what you want from a linebacker. Same thing with TJ Edwards, a guy who had to build himself into one of the better linebackers in the league. You know, when you have guys like that, every single play matters to them, and those guys will never get comfortable because they know what they had to do to get in this league. They had to scratch and claw and go out there and exceed all expectations and make plays, and that's what they've continually done with every opportunity that they've had.
Yeah, I love seeing how Jack has played. I'm really excited to see, you know, that this tandem hopefully get back together this week, if not next week versus the Vikings. It feels like we're starting to get closer to health. But let's look at this week, J-Mac. We got the Detroit Lions, and they are rolling. I mean, 7-2. They've pretty much faced every challenge that you can face head on and come out on the winning side of it just about. What is it about this Lions team that scares you most going up against the Chicago Bears with where we're at right now at what are we, 3-7, 3-8?
Yeah,
3-7?
3-7, yeah. I mean, it's just a real solid team. You know, I'll start with the offensive side first. I mean, you got everything you want. You got playmakers in every aspect of the game. You've got a rookie tight end, another guy from Iowa making plays. We're seeing Iowa tight ends coming this league.
Iowa's all over the place, bro. Iowa breeding tight ends, brother.
Man, I'm telling you, he's been making some plays. I mean, he's been targeted like I think 7 times a game.
Yeah.
Doing my breakdown. I mean, he's had a really good season for a rookie. And you look at David Montgomery, who we know David Montgomery real well. He's going to be excited to get back and, you know, get some get back against the Bears. But the rookie Jamar Gibbs is doing a lot of different things in terms of, yes, he could run the ball, but he's also effective as a back coming out of the backfield. So, you know, I think Detroit will do some things to where they'll try to, you know, get Jahmyr Gibbs out and have him be a mismatch on Sanborn or possibly TJ Edwards, you know. And you're looking at Amon-Ra St. Brown, hope I said his name right. EQ's little brother, Equimania St. Brown's little brother. I mean, he's a stud, man. I mean, he's had 100 yards in every game except for 2.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy can play. He's a nightmare matchup in the slot. And you look at Jared Goff, who we touched on earlier, who's had a great season. I mean, he doesn't really turn the ball over. I think he has 14 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. But, you know, he's a guy, he's consistent, you know, and he does a good job of getting the ball to his playmakers. And he's not going to make mistakes. He's going to take what the defense gives him. And that's how he's evolved as a quarterback, because we saw when he was, you know, with the Rams, he wasn't that type of quarterback. He wasn't developed. You know, he's just taking his game to another level. And it's good to see, you know, a quarterback who had a lot of promise coming in this league elevate his game, even if it's with another team.
Yeah, he's so I got to give Jared Goff credit. I mean, and maybe it's Ben Johnson who really is the mastermind behind all of it, but how he's evolved his game. Like, Jared Goff was a quarterback that came here to Chicago, right? And in the cold, of course, being in LA, it's very different. But like, we were literally just like, if we take away their running game and you force Jared Goff to throw the football, it's over. I don't feel that way about Jared Goff anymore. When he came here and he was with LA, it was like, oh, Jared Goff's throwing the football. We won the game. And we did. And we dominated them the entire game. Now we've seen that run game get taken away. We've seen Jared Goff be able to go out there and make plays. Bears have their hands or have their work cut out for them heading into this one, especially with an offensive line where you just held a team that, by the way, was in the backfield all day versus us with Nick Bosa and Khalil Mack to not even seeing the other quarterback, and Jared Goff being able to stand back there and just have a great time all night. Amon-Ra's got 156 yards, 19.5 yards a catch. Like, you've got to be able to find a way to get to Jared Goff in this game, to disrupt this game. Tez and Yannick have to have their best day, and I think that this could be one of the days where we're going to have to lean on the offense. And it sounds crazy to say with how the offense has played most of this season, but like, where you're going to have to heavily lean on the offense, because this defense without that 3 technique is going to be in a little bit of trouble because Jared Goff's going to have the opportunity to stand back there and pick you apart if you can't create that pressure up the middle. You got to force him to those edges. I need Justin Jones, Andrew Billings, and the young guys, Javon Dexter, Zach Pickens. They got to have their best day for us to feel good about the defense in this one, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. I think, with Sweat being there another week, building that continuity with that defensive line, him elevating the play of all those guys around him. We saw that last game. There was times where, Sweat didn't get home, but other guys got home because of the Sweat factor. So I think we'll continue to see that. But I also think, the Bears have done a great job, Coach Cruz in particular being the defensive coordinator as well, of getting Kyler Gordon in the game. Kyler Gordon, I think, is a very underrated blitzer. He does a lot of great things because of his athleticism. You get him out there on a back, he's able to, give you some moves and get to the quarterback. But also if there's a tackle blocking him, he's a smaller guy, so he's able to bend and get to the quarterback or to create havoc. But here's the thing, right? When you're blitzing your nickel, right, this week, you've got to disguise it well because of the fact that you have, a factor on that opposite side of Amon-Ra St. Brown, who can kill you, know what I mean? And what will happen is, Goff's a veteran quarterback where, if you don't disguise the blitz, he's going to see that. Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to make a side adjustment in which he'll break off his route because of the blitz, and then Jared Goff will get that ball out to Amon-Ra St. Brown quicker. So I think you have to bring secondary pressure or second level pressure with linebackers, but you got to be careful because when you have a veteran quarterback with weapons, he'll see it and he'll be able to pick you apart or take advantage of it.
What's the best way to take advantage of the a defense that gave up 38 points? They're a defense that at times that frontline pressure is absolutely suffocating. But if you've got the right guys on it, it seems like we've got a pretty good offensive line combination. You can attack this secondary here. What's the best way to go about trying to pick apart this Detroit defense right now?
Yeah, I mean, the best way to give you an opportunity to throw the ball is establish a run game, right? If you don't establish a run game, well, guess what? They're going to sit back and say, hey, you know what? We're going to take away the run. We're going to force you to beat us with the pass. You know what I mean? We're going to force, Justin to sit in that pocket and decipher defense, decipher coverages, make reads, and really, execute at a high level from the pocket. Yeah. So I think that run game, as with any quarterback who's struggling, that run game is going to be your best friend because it's going to take pressure off of you, right? And if you have a good run game, they're going to bring that extra defender in the box, and that's going to give you open lanes in the passing game. So, I think the Bears, we've done really well running the ball, and I think it's got to be, we got to continue doing that. And, the one thing that, will help us too is, Khalil Herbert another week having an opportunity to come back. You've got Deontay Foreman's done a lot of great things, but, having both of those guys in the mix, I think it causes a lot of problems because now you got a tandem just like the Detroit Lions have a tandem. Yeah. And when you have both of those guys, it's really going to take the pressure off of Justin. And now Justin doesn't have to necessarily just win the game with his arm in his first game back. He can lean on that run game a little bit, but they can also use that run game to set up an explosive passing game.
Yeah, well, I mean, and the one thing to really keep an eye on, Courtney Cronin was talking about this with us yesterday, said Deontay Foreman left that game with a noticeable limp. Remember, he ends up spraining, I think he sprained the ankle during the game. They sent him back out there. He only missed, I want to say, one drive, but she said that he had a noticeable limp. We'll see kind of where he is on the injury report today. Hopefully he's all good there. And let's hope that this Bears team can go out there and get a win, man. I mean, what's your prediction? What's your gut feeling right now going up against Detroit? I know it's the beast of the NFC North right now, which is crazy to say about Detroit. Did Detroit ever have a good season with you?
Man, they had a 0-16 season.
They had I know they
had
that.
You know who was the coach that year?
Who?
Ron Marinelli was the coach that year, I think. It was 0-16. If I'm not mistaken, I think Ron Marinelli was the head coach. They were 0-16. And we used to be like, oh, man, Detroit this week.
Yeah.
Detroit this week.
That checks out. I don't feel that way no more. I don't feel that way at all. What's your gut feeling right now with this game?
I'm encouraged and excited that we got guys coming back. I think that, albeit being the Panthers, that getting that win, should help us have, I don't know, it should catapult. I'm not saying it's going to catapult us to another win.
Yeah.
But it's just good coming off of a win. And, you know, we haven't seen this Bears team put together back-to-back wins in I don't know how many games in a long time. I don't know how many years should I say. I don't know. But Detroit just has too many weapons, in my opinion. They're playing that we're at home. I mean, it's going to be hostile environment. Justin Fields' first game back. I just don't see the Bears, you know, winning this game. I just don't see us being able to put together enough of a game plan. I just think Detroit just has too much for us right now, and they're hitting at all cylinders. So, you know, I'm going to say Detroit 28, the Bears 14, unfortunately. And yeah, everybody talking in the chat. Yeah, my dog is barking. He's going crazy.
Hey, the dog going crazy. The dog is upset. He said, I can't believe you picking us to lose.
Yeah, he's mad because I'm neglecting him, man.
I'm sitting here trying to figure out our last back-to-back win. Oh my God, bro. I got to go so far back. This is crazy.
Yeah, see what I mean?
I think this is gross. I think it's Seattle. We played Seattle on right after Christmas of 2021, and we beat the Giants the week after. I think that's the last time we had back-to-back wins. 2021 going into the new year into 2022. Hey, man, let's hope this is the week to get it. Appreciate you guys for tuning in and showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. That was a gross thing for me to look up. I
told you.
That's horrible. Wow. This is we got to get this franchise right. Come on, J-Mac.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like, you know, it's like you look at it, right? We beat the Redskins. The Redskins. I'm sorry. The Commanders. We beat the Commanders, right? And you come back the next game and we played terrible. It's like that win just, you know, you can't build anything off of it. It's like, all right, you win that game. Now everybody's walking around with confidence. And, you know, we had that mini bye again. Remember the last time we had a mini bye?
Oh, the mini buys, baby. The mini buys. Patriots.
And, I mean, we were terrible. So, you know, I want to see this team, you know, can they build off of momentum generated from a win or even a mini bye? And you hear Coach Lewis talking about, self-scout. We had an opportunity to self-scout, do this. All right. Yeah. Well, for me offensively, and I'm talking to Gadsby and the offensive staff, self-scout. Did you do a Justin Fields scout? What has Justin Fields been successful at within our game plans, within games? And those are the things that we need to put in the game plan. All right. Whatever Justin's had success with this season, all that needs to be put into the game plan. All of it.
It's so weird to me too, right? Like, I know we were about to get out of here, but like the part that irritates me the most is like, why is it, at least to me, there are certain things that are common sense that haven't been common sense, right? We go into the Chargers game and I'm irritated because I'm sitting there looking at that game saying, well, of course, you're going to start this thing off running the football. And I get it. You got down quick, right? But it was 14-0 to start. That doesn't mean we just got to start chucking the ball down the field. No, the game plan should have been, we're going to go run heavy in this. Why? Because they've given up 200 yards almost every game on the ground. And what do the Bears do? Let's air it out, baby. We're throwing this thing. You know what I mean? Like, I get it when you get down huge. Like, if it's 21-0, all right, you got no choice but to air it out. But it was 14-0. You got it to 14-7. And it just like the things that seem like everybody else in the world goes, this is logical. This is what you should do this week. This is what we want to see you do. Luke Getsy goes, but hold on. What's the other side of that page got? You know what it's got? 7 screen passes. Hey, man, we appreciate y'all for showing love. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page. We got to get out of here. They got radio shows to do and all that stuff, man. As always, it's your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again, joined by the greatest fullback in Chicago Bears history. Can we say that? I think we can say that, honestly.
Matt Suey, my guy. Man.
Oh, yeah.
Matt Suey's up there. He's got a Super Bowl ring, man.
Yeah. There's that. Yeah. There is that. Second greatest. It's not bad to be second greatest with all the fullbacks that's been there. Y'all stay safe out there.
I'm just happy to wear the uniform. Bear down,
Jason McKie in the building. Bear down. Y'all stay safe.